Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelly and this is Soul Symbols. Today is Saturday and happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading, and what this is every Saturday I post a reading where you, the viewer, get to choose from one of 3 tarot decks. And what we do is we do a basic card spread and we kind of see what kind of energies the next 7 days has in store for you. So today I'm gonna jump straight into it, but just a few quick announcements. You may see, if you're a subscriber of my channel, you may see posts in under the name Soul Symbols that says Eco Girl in a Modern World. What it is that I've been taking an environmental course, which is another subject I'm very passionate about. And what I'm doing is I'm doing a short stint of videos. It's under the playlist Eco Girl in a Modern World, and I'm just going to be talking about different things like recycling and what our clothes are made of, and glass and plastic, and just ways that you can kind of make the world a little bit better with your everyday habits. It's definitely been a fun journey. I've learned new things and really interesting things just about the new technology that's available, and it's very inspiring. It's very eye-opening, but you do not have to click on those videos if you do not want to. You may see it come up as a post under my name, but by all means, if that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. If not, no obligation. And that series will probably wrap up around Earth Day, and then you may see a few extra videos after that, but just very sporadically. The main focus of the content of my channel is the cards. And at any time, also, if you want to skip straight to your reading, the timestamps are in the description box below. And this week I wanted to jump right in. I'd actually kind of missed doing the cards. It's funny, I started doing these videos on environmental awareness, and again, they were really fun to film, but I've had a lot of irons in the fire lately, and I didn't, I really kind of missed getting back to the cards. The other night I pulled cards for myself, and it was just, oh gosh, I was like, ooh, I miss this. I miss this. And in that vein, I kind of went with some decks. There were a few decks that I haven't been neglecting, but I just hadn't used in a while. And in that same vein, I felt like I kind of owed you guys a little bit, because I've been putting a little bit more energy towards the other video series. So I wanted to do something kind of special today. So in addition to after I pull your tarot spread, I am also going to pull cards from the Salmon Oracle. And this is a really fun deck. It's got some very psychedelic pop kind of art, and but it's very inspiring. It has really unique messages, and I just kind of did it. I hand sew bags, so I made this one. I'm pretty proud of this one. It turned out good. But I'm gonna go ahead and look, there's a special card called Smart as the Salmon. It's the basis of the card deck is right on the bottom. I think that's a good omen. But I will clarify your reading with that card. And so I went ahead and went with 3 decks that we wanted to show some love this week. The first deck is the Witch's Tarot by Dugan. And I felt drawn to do animal gemstones. You know what it was? Is that the Witch's Tarot, I always keep the little sleeping cat with it. This is an agate. So, and since I gave the cat to the Witch's Tarot, I felt like I should do animals with everybody else. The Rose Quartz Rabbit is going with this is the Inked Intuition tarot deck. It's all tattoo art. Something about red and white making pink. I thought that was a good combination. I don't know. I go with my gut. And then the last deck is the White Sage Tarot by Theresa Hutch. This one's really cute. The cups are coffee cups, and I'm loving that. And then paired with it, it's hard to kind of see on the video because he's dark and he blends in with my pattern background. But this is a gold stone. He's a very dark navy blue frog. This is one of my favorite dudes, my froggy guy. So I will go ahead and pause the video and let you choose. I ask that you please choose from your intuition. If you need more time, please go ahead and pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. So let's go ahead and we'll get right into it. We'll get right down to it. Also, this is a universal reading, so it doesn't have to be the week of March 7th to March 14th, 7th, 7th, 14th, yes. Sorry, I need to check myself there. It doesn't have to be that week in order for the messages to resonate. You know, if you're drawn to this reading at any other time, there might be some insight contained for you. All right, so deck number 1, Witch's Tarot, and our agate cat. What kind of energies are you looking at this week? Oh, that popped right out. Okay, what kind of energies is deck number 1 looking forward to? What kind of energies? The end of our week? What kind of energies? The Nine of Pentacles wanted to pop out, but let's see. If it's meant to show, it always does. It comes flying out. Okay, the end of our week. Deck number 1. What kind of energies? What kind of energies are we wrapping up with? Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, there was one hidden behind that. Look at that, guys. Oh, there's like several. Okay, and let's go ahead and get your Salmon card before we get into it. You see this one is sticking out? We're gonna go with it. Oh my gosh. It's crazy, guys. All right. Let me just get a bead on it. Wow. Wow, okay, I'm definitely getting a bead here, guys. So at the beginning of the week, and just for the record, we are coming up on a full moon. And the full moon is going to be on the 9th, and I'm going to put the astrologer hat on for a minute. The full moon is going to be in the sign of Virgo at 19 degrees. And what it is that anytime the moon is full, it's always opposite the sun. And so that means the sun is going to be 19 degrees Pisces. And what it is Pisces is a very watery sign. It's all about illusion. It's about dreams. And I really think that I feel like you're going to be feeling this energy really, really strongly. You see how there's a moon. It's not full, but you see how she's navigating the dark, and there's kind of wolves there, and you know, she's like leading, right? She also has keys on her belt, and when you look at it, you know, there's a lot of fog, right? I really think that this full moon, and again, the other thing is that it's been Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and it's about to go direct. I feel like you've been navigating a very murky time. Like, I think things have been very veiled. And I really do feel like for a while now, and this is a major card too, but what the majors mean when they come up in a weekly spread is it just means that you're going to be feeling this energy a lot, very strongly at the beginning of the week. I think at the beginning of the week, you're going to be feeling the full moon, and the vibe that I'm getting is that I feel like you just feel like you're trying to find your way out of the woods, right? And you see how she has that torch, and you see how she looks intent, right? She looks like she's on a mission, like, I'm going to get out of this, right? And I feel like you're going to be feeling that way at the beginning of the week. And again, with it being Pisces and Virgo, it's interesting. In astrology, we always say when signs are opposite, and it can be any signs, it can be, you know, it can be Gemini, Sagittarius, it can be, you know, Cancer and Capricorn. What they always say, what astrologers always say is that and actually in particular Stephen Forrest, who's a great mentor, he always says the one sign is the cure for the other. So Virgo is the cure for Pisces. Pisces is the cure for Virgo, right? And what it is that Pisces are dreamers. They're very imaginative, and they're almost kind of innocent. They're very sensitive, but sometimes they're not always very realistic about the world. And then Pisces are the person who are the doers, right? They make the list, they go down there, they do their little checklist, they make sure everything's done on a very minute scale. They make sure that every little detail is accounted for. So sometimes when Pisces is all up in the clouds and you know, letting the lights get turned off because the power bill hasn't been paid, you know, Virgo will come in and correct that. But the opposite is sometimes Virgo gets to be too much of a stickler about details, and they need to lighten up a little bit. They need to let go. And Pisces teaches you how to do that. And here I feel like, and I'm sorry for the monologue, but here I feel like you are balancing those two elements. And I do think that this full moon is really kind of pushing on that. I feel like you've kind of walked the line between feeling like you're spiraling into everything having no order to things having too much order. But definitely with the moon, I feel like you're leaning more towards the foggy side. And I don't think that you particularly like it, but you're trying to get out of it. It's like everything has been so in a daze. And as much as that helps you mellow out, you're keeping clear about it. So I get that a very strong energy about that at the beginning of the week. You're keeping yourself out of the fog. You're trying to stay clear about things, even though a lot of things in your life are not clear. And the other thing that it kind of hints at is that you are trying to go with the flow, but it's a little bit difficult. You do feel a little bit lost. And it does kind of tug on your fears a little bit. So that's going to be kind of your general energy at the beginning of the week. Now, by the middle of the week, you're going to be feeling like you're starting off on a little bit of a new adventure. And again, you see how this person's kind of walking the line there. The Fool is always a positive card. It means the universe is going to be there to catch you. But I also see here, I notice how usually in this deck the dog is chasing after him as he's stepping off a cliff. And here he's more just walking precariously close to the edge, right? And you see this dog is kind of leading him away. I have a feeling by the middle of the week, again, I feel like this energy is transitioning into this one. I'll be honest, I gotta say it like I see it. I'm getting a real, like, I just don't give an F kind of feeling. And I'm not saying that that's your attitude towards things, but I really do get the feeling that you just feel like everything you're getting a kind of veiled perception that may not be true. That's the other thing about the moon. Everything is not clear. There's nothing clear here. So if you start to take action based on, you know, something that you're not 100% certain of, it is almost kind of like walking against that cliff. And it's like, well, you know, if things are just going to end up this way anyway, let me just, you know. But here I see the dog kind of running the opposite way, like, hey, follow me, right? So I'll tell you, dogs usually mean loyal friends. So I have a feeling that you might have been feeling a little lost and, you know, you're walking the edge there. And by the middle of the week, I think a friend is really going to help pull you away from the edge. I do feel like you've probably been feeling a little lost. And you have a friend who sees you, because you're not even paying attention to your feet there, right? So I do think a friend is going to kind of help you out, kind of try to lead you, talk you off the ledge. That's what I keep hearing, talk you off the ledge. I don't think it's going to be a real extreme, but I do think that you're towing the line. I think you're seeing something and taking it for truth, but really the situation may not be as bad as you think it is, or it may not be what you think it is. You ever heard of that line in the movie Princess Bride? What you think him is not what you think him is. I'm kind of getting that feeling. And if you continue to try to take that leap on, you know, unsolid information, it might be bad for you. So I do think that you have a friend who's being the voice of reason, who's trying to get you away from that way of thinking. The other thing is that when underneath it, the cards that really wanted to come out is you got the Eight of Cups, you got the Eight of Pentacles, and these are two eights, guys. And the other thing is, oh my God, I just put this together. Pisces is a water sign and Virgo is an earth sign. And this is water and earth, guys, in equal measure. Water, earth, 8-8. Whoa, there we go. So yeah, I definitely think this full moon's you're gonna feel this full moon. I don't know if maybe you have other signs, particularly if they're mutable. If you're either a Gemini or Sagittarius in 19 degrees or anywhere close to that, usually it's about a 5-degree gap. So if you're 14 degrees anywhere to 24 degrees, you might be feeling this full moon a little bit more. It's nothing to be scared of, you're just gonna feel it. And what it is the Eight of Cups is walking away from something that you emotionally invested in, right? And oh, the other thing is here, look, check out the moon, y'all. Look at that. Is that not the same moon? Wow. Now, the other thing that this might be is this is a crescent moon, and it does look like it's waning. So this might be a situation that started probably about 2 to 3 weeks ago. This, whatever's making you feel all dazed and confused. But you're feeling like something's a hopeless case, right? You're feeling like you need to walk away from something. And I do see that you're kind of throwing yourself into work. You might be doing what I've been doing, which is just being busy and tired. So I am getting kind of that vibe. And it's underneath this Fool. So I think this line that you've been walking, this line that your friends are kind of concerned about, like, okay, he's up in the clouds, right? Which is a Piscean thing. I think you might have walked away from something, either a situation, and you really kind of threw yourself into work. And work is not a bad thing to throw yourself into. It definitely keeps you distracted. But the only problem is that when you're distracted and busy, the moment you tend to wear yourself out quickly, and the moment that you're not distracted, you might start thinking about whatever it is is in these cups, right? You know, you don't forget cups very easily. And again, you got the kind of Three of Pentacles, so you might be hanging out. Again, I'm getting a people vibe. I think you're working with others, and I do think it's something that you're passionate about. I do think you're developing a very strong skill at something, but I do think that you're doing it to forget about something else that you might have walked away from, and that can be, that could be any type of situation, but it's just something that you invested in. So by the middle of the week, I think you are just going to be keeping yourself busy, but you're going to be towing that line. And I do think that your friends are going to be getting kind of concerned. Like, okay, you're working yourself a lot, you're working a lot, you're not taking any breaks, you really seem distracted. That's the other thing. I think you probably will have someone say, well, you seem really distracted, you might be working really hard and putting your all into it, but you're not there, you're not yourself, is what I'm hearing. You're not yourself. And that's going to be kind of your feeling. It's kind of going to feel like an apex by the middle of the week. But it's going to be, the other thing is that because this is a waxing moon, it's decreasing moon. I think the full moon is going to be the apex of this, and then it's just going to start to amp down as you go through the rest of the week. Now, by the end of the week, you got the Five of Pentacles and you got the Ace of Wands. So I definitely get this feeling, guys, and I'll be honest, I think you're working really hard and you're getting a lot of accomplishments. The other thing is you're redirecting your energy, right? If something sad has happened, or you feel like you've had to walk away from something that really this distraction or whatever work it's prosperous. Definitely anything that you put your energy into it's almost like watching a flower grow. That's the other thing, is that in this cup, in this picture, you see a little flower there that's covered. It's not really blossoming because it's so cold, right? But in this scene, you see a warm golden glow, and it looks like the wand is flowering, right? It looks like it's blooming where it's planted. What I get is that I do think that by the end of the week, you are going to see the fruits of your labor. Anything you put your energy into will give you back what you put into it, right? So if that's a work endeavor, that's going to come back to you. But I do think that by the end of the week, you're going to be putting on a great front, like you're doing great. And that's not fake. You know, you really are accomplishing things, but underneath it, you are going to be feeling a little bit like a loss, right? Not in a bad way, but I just get this feeling like these new things that you're doing is to kind of cover up kind of a sadness, right? Because these two are a little bit of a sad card. You know, there are no bad cards in tarot, but there are real cards in tarot. And the Five of Pentacles is feeling like you do not have enough of what you value, right? It's almost like being a little bit bereft in the things that mean the most. And then you got the Ace of Wands, which is the beginnings. I actually just had a tarot on the Ace of Wands earlier in the week on Tuesday. If you get a chance to watch it, you know, check it out. Let me know what you think. But the Ace of Wands is such a positive card. It is this light, right? It's jumping into something. It's putting your energy towards something. But I will just caution that I think what you might be doing is you might be trying to find new things to put your energy in because you're feeling a little bit empty. And it is completely okay to feel empty. Everybody has had those moments. You've had those times. But I think what this is telling you is that by the end of the week, and this is the only wand this is the only real fire in this spread. I think it's good to go with that wand's energy. Definitely, if there's something you feel like doing that will really get you jazzed up, that'll get you feeling like, okay, let's go do this. But I do feel like it's a little bit of a teeter-totter. It's like 1 minute you're feeling kind of blue and the next minute you're feeling really excited. It's a little bit of a pendulum swing. And I think what the spread is telling you is that it is completely okay to have those emotions. It's completely okay to want to do something, to not think about sad emotions. But I do think that it's telling you that you want to face what it is. Try to face whatever is making you feel empty. Because you do want to root out the source of any unhappiness. Because you can take on a million hobbies to make you happy. You can kind of stoke your mental endorphins as much as you can with anything, you know, novelties, with hobbies, with exercise. But the moment that you get a moment alone, if you have not dealt with whatever it is that's making you unhappy, you're just going to go right back into that poor little flower is just going to wilt again internally, right? So here I do think that it's just telling you, you know, be mindful of that, because at the end of the week you are going to have a little bit more of those highs and lows. But I do think there's a potential for doing something that really excites you. But the underscore, because remember, this card was hidden behind this one. So it almost feels, you know, as if behind this enthusiasm there is emptiness, or there's hidden emptiness with all this activity that you're doing. So, and myself included, you know, when you start doing, I had a great seminar recently that talked about do a list, you know, and that's a Virgo thing. Sorry, I got a Venus in Virgo. I'm going to be feeling this full moon too. But make just a short list of the things that you're doing and kind of color code it like a stoplight. The things that you like to do that really that are just pleasure for you, that you really, there are no bad moments. You look forward to doing it. You're excited and it makes you feel fulfilled. You know, mark that in green, like green go. Those activities that are just kind of mid-range, where it's just like, I can do it. I have the ability to do it. You know, let me go vacuum my room first. Those kind of things mark in yellow, kind of like, okay, yield. And then anything that you're dreading doing, anything you're like, oh God, why did I agree to this? You know, mark in red, and you know, don't include work in that if you can't. You know, just try to keep it honest. And then see if you can cut down on more of the red activities and maybe cut the yellow activities by half. And then try to put in, you know, try to focus more on the green. And that way you're not wearing yourself out. And it definitely, now the Oracle card that I thought was very interesting, and it does kind of, I really think it plays into this too, guys, is that you got look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror. And what I thought, and what made me giggle, not in a bad way, what blew my mind was it has a little crab on it, guys. And guess what? In astrology, guess what the symbol of the crab means? It's the symbol of the astrological sign of Cancer, and Cancer rules the moon. And so again, I do think that I think it's telling you, you know, if you're having highs and lows, try to find the source of it. Look, the other thing is I did How to Tarot on the Moon, if you get a chance to watch that, because I do think that this is a very powerful card. This is a major arcana, and it definitely means about things that are hidden. It means things that you kind of need to root out. But wow, we got a little long-winded because there were more cards, guys. I try to keep it to 3 cards. It never happens, but all right. So we'll go ahead and put your cards on top. Put your crab on top. All right. So deck number 2. Sorry, we are focused. We got the Rose Quartz Rabbit, and then we got the Inked and Intuition. So this is my tattoo deck. Sorry, I can't speak today. All right, deck number 2. What kind of energies do we have this week? Deck number 2. Oop. I always love the rabbit too because it's such a sign of prosperity. I saw that, right? King of Wands is trying to pop out on the bottom. Okay, end of the week. Okay. Ooh. Seven of Swords is also trying to make an appearance, but I'll note it, but okay. And there are no bad cards in tarot. So the other thing, I've mentioned it before in other videos. This is what we call a pip deck. It means that the court cards all have an image, like a person, as do the majors. But the minors, the swords, the wands, the cups, it's just swords, wands, cups. It's not, it doesn't show like a scene or a picture the way that the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith does. So by the beginning of the week, you guys got the 8 of Swords. And the 8 of Swords is it's traditionally that person who is standing with 7 swords around them, almost like prison bars, and they're very loosely tied up and they have a blindfold on. It's the card of being stuck, but it's the card of your perception being that you're stuck when really you have power, but you don't feel like you do. So now I take into consideration the artwork, even though with pip decks there's not whole scenes, but the star usually means justice, and the way that the swords are like crossed to each other, it's like the swords are coming out of each of the points of the star. So I do think that here, in tarot and in a lot of symbolism, a star does mean hope, right? It means hope. The other thing that I'm noticing about this card is that with all of these handles, right, you see 8 handles, but you don't really see the points of the knives, right? They're almost like daggers. And, what's happening here is that I do think that, and swords are thought too. So I get the feeling that, you see the beginning, you have all these beginnings of thoughts, but you don't really see the outcome of the thought, right? And all of these thoughts are coming together and making kind of this block. It's becoming this grid, this wall, right? So I do think at the beginning of the week, I'm getting the basic feeling as if you have hope, but I also mentioned in the last deck that on the 9th, it's going to be a full moon, and the full moon is going to be at 19 degrees Virgo, and it's going to be opposite the sun in Pisces. And the thing about Virgos is that they're very factual. And the thing about Pisceans is that they're very dreamy. They kind of go with the flow, but sometimes they're not all that rational, not in a bad way, but, they're not the analytical type of people. They're brilliant in kind of a higher knowledge kind of way, while Virgos are more, do the checklist and make sure everything's done in a physical, real world, practical way. And here I'm definitely getting a feeling that by the beginning of the week, you have hope, you know what you're capable of, but I have this feeling that your prison or your block is you thinking that you're thinking in that Virgo practical way, and you might need to unlock your mind in a little bit of a Piscean way. Like, it's almost like I'm getting a strong vibe as if you need to allow yourself to dream. You need to allow yourself to believe that what you want is possible. And at the beginning of the week, I'm getting those thoughts that are like, oh, well, I would love to go back to school and get my degree, but I'm getting a lot of buts. I'm feeling like every single one of those swords is a but. Well, I've always wanted to do this, but, it'll never happen because, I'm seeing all these as buts and becauses, whatever. You know what I mean. I don't think that you're giving yourself, and also with creative visualization, part of things manifesting is for you to actually, energy follows thought. And if you think that, if you say I can't versus, it's possible, if you even just turn that thought into it's possible, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. If you even just put that spin on it, that would take you out of your cage, right? But the beginning of the week, I'm definitely getting that energy. It's going to be a lot of, I would like to do this, but it wouldn't, but it's not going to happen because X, Y, Z. And I do think that with the full moon being around that, I think that Virgo energy, I think you're going to be feeling more Virgo than you are Pisces with this full moon. And whatever your sign, Virgo fuels the water signs and the earth signs. Now, by the middle of the week, you got the 5 of Cups and you got the 2 of Cups. So definitely, again, the 5 of Cups is that traditional, mourning over something that is lost and not seeing what is, left to be discovered. So I do think that maybe some of this energy might be due to some kind of disappointment or just something that didn't manifest the way that you wanted it to. And I do think by the middle of the week, you're going to be getting a little bit more inspiration. The fact that the 2 of Cups is underneath the 5, I do think that something is going to, because again, in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, the 2 Cups, basically, there's something that you're not seeing, but by the middle of the week, that thing that, that opportunity that you're not seeing is really going to come to the forefront by the middle of the week. You're going to be not forced to see it, but it's, instead of these 2 cups being behind you, like being behind what you can see, they're going to be pushed to where you can see it. Like I'm seeing these 2 cups being bigger and in front of the eye versus behind the eye. So I do think that by the middle of the week, things are going to become a lot clearer. And it does feel a little bit relationship related. I do think that, something that you had been kind of feeling the but or because over is going to come a little bit more front and center. Your options, what you can do versus what you do, is going to be pushed to the forefront where you can see it. And I do think that it's going to make you feel a little bit more optimistic. I think it's going to help you to stop mourning over what didn't happen, or that, it's going to get you out of your funk a little bit, right? This also can be that that you're spending time with somebody, or and again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a friend, a best friend. It can be your pet. It can be a mother or parent or a father, or it can be a sibling or a niece or nephew, really anyone. But basically, someone's really gonna, I think also that this might be someone encouraging you, someone that's really kind of your equal, But that's gonna be something nice. I do feel positive energy from this, and I do think that this is, because the cups came out in front and, the eye can see it. Excuse me, got the hiccups. By the end of the week, you got the 9 of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is, I just noticed the way that this arrow is pointing forward. And normally the Nine of Wands is just the feeling like you've been through the war. I do think you are going to be feeling a little worn out by the end of the week. I think you really will need kind of a rest. The other thing that I'm seeing here is that this is a lot of thinking and this is a lot of emotion. And then by the end of the week, I do think that it's just going to take a little bit of a toll on you physically, because the wands are physical energy. You are still standing your ground. You've been through a lot with this, but by the end of the week, I think it's also a card of being wiser. You know, it's a card, sorry for the sound, guys. It's a card of wisdom too. You know, sometimes after you've been through the war, I also see it as a little bit of a street smart kind of card. You know, you learn from your bumps and bruises. But I do think that I think by the end of the week, it is encouraged that you take a little bit of a break. This is just kind of, I also get a vibe of you kind of just dragging. I do kind of feel like whatever's been in your head and whatever's been on your heart, you know, whatever you do in your daily life, you know, if you have a 9-to-5 job, or, you know, if you're a mom or if you're a dad, if you take care of people, I think that you really do have to kind of go easy on yourself over the weekend, because you're going to have, like, you've ever seen your phone battery be on like 3%? And you just know any second that screen is just going to go dark, like it's just going to power off, right? I am kind of getting that feeling like, okay, at any second I'm just going to run out of juice, right? You know, I'm operating on backup reserves, right? I'm getting a little bit of that energy towards the end of the week. And, you know, now the crazy thing here is that I am getting definitely kind of a romantic vibe by this. I think by the end of the week, guys, you're going to be pretty worn out, but underneath the Nine of Wands, you got the Knight of Cups and you got the Eight of Wands. Oh my goodness. I mean, the Knight of Cups, I'm just now seeing this. I pulled the cards and I didn't look ahead. The Knight of Cups, the Knight, he is a lover, and he's coming to you with an offer. Now, the thing with that bird there too is that normally I would think of it as a dove of peace, but here I'm seeing it more of a message. Birds are messengers. And the Eight of Wands is that card where it's the card of speed. So I do think, in the fact that the speed is behind this person, and the way that this, and if you can see the spread, the way that this knight is kind of looking up at these cups, you know, I think I'm getting a watcher vibe, not a creeper vibe, but, well, maybe a little creeper-ish, you know, not in a bad way, not in a stalker way, but like, I have a feeling that someone can see what you're doing. They might not know your thoughts, but someone can kind of see what's going on here. Now, this person, this cup that he's holding looks very similar to this cup in the two. So this might be the person that you're connecting with by the beginning of the week, or this could be because there are 3 cups here. And no, I'm seeing green there. Yeah, I definitely get the sense that by the end of the week, you're going to be pretty worn out. But there is someone who's watching. There's someone who can see what you're going through. And by the end of the week, I don't think that they see it as an opportunity, but I am getting a vibe like they're looking for an opening. I know that sounds so strange. Yeah, it's like they're looking for an opening. They're looking for a way for that bird to come flying into this, right? If that makes any sense, you know? But the fact that it's a bird, I definitely get a feeling like it's going to be some kind of communication. It's going to be either a text message or an email, as antiquated as that is nowadays. Email is like that letter that was sealed with red wax back in the olden days, right? We're way too tech.
We're way too tech. Where has the old-fashioned romance gone?
I challenge someone to leave like a scrap of parchment that is sealed with red wax. Where has that gone? I'm sorry. All right, I'm lamenting. I'm going to shut up now. But yeah, I think it's that feeling. And the thing is, that message is going to be coming in on fire too, guys, because the Eight of Wands is like, boom. But I do think that the fact, what's kind of throwing me is that the way that the cards point is what it's talking about. So this night is pointing towards the middle of the week, but it's underneath the 9. Yeah. The only other thing I can think of is that maybe this isn't a second interpretation, just, take what resonates and leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate, you don't have to take it. But, the other thing I can think of is that maybe you're really worn out, but there is someone, you're worn out because of this, the 8 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, and the 9 of Wands. But I do think that there's someone who's full of energy, that's trying to connect, and I think by the end of the week they're really going to be making an effort and to connect with you, to communicate with you, possibly to make plans, because the Wands are the only other thing that I can think of is that maybe you're feeling worn out, like maybe you're trying to make plans with people, trying to connect with friends, but you just you do need to kind of take some time for yourself. I think you're on 3% and the screen's about to go dark. So you don't want to keep, railroading yourself into exhaustion. But you are you might be looking at the connection. I do think that you're going to have a connection with someone by the middle of the week, and by the end of the week, it's almost like it's almost as if you want to keep it balanced, but you are going to be pretty worn out and guarded too. That's the other thing, is that whoever's making this offer, if someone does communicate to you, they're going to be in a very guarded, it's going to be in a little bit of a cautious communication, but it's going to be a super fast one. I know that sounds crazy, but it's almost going to be like quick. You know what I'm almost getting? My sister always calls it, anytime, I know this is terrible, anytime my nieces want something, but they don't want to have a full out conversation about it. It's usually, okay, this is the thing, anytime, you ever notice, if you have kids, have you ever noticed when they want something, but they know that it's like that, hey, can you come pick me up with 5 minutes notice kind of thing. They're going to get chewed out for it. So instead they do what my sister calls a hit and run. You text it, you go in and you're like, hey mom, I got a science project due tomorrow. Can you get me cardboard? And then they run out of the room. And that is the vibe I'm getting from this. This person is guarded and they're like, hey, I got this bird for you, but I'm going to come in and be like, here's your bird, okay, And you're going to have to reply to that text like, you couldn't even stick around for 30 seconds? I don't even know who sent this bird. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, it's been a long week, guys. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of that vibe. Whoever it is going to be kind of guarded, and they're going to come in like hit and run. Either that, or you're going to be pretty worn out, and you want to keep things fair, you want to keep things balanced, but either that, or it could very well be those kind of fast texts. You know how when you're just stressed out and tired, and you do not want to have a full-on conversation with someone, you're just like, 3-second text, you hit and run, But I do think that you do have a lot going on, so I'll tell you what my mom always says, be kind to yourself, take it easy. And the other thing I would say is that if someone is doing kind of that, this seems like very loving, it's fast, but all of this seems very positive. If you need a little bit of time to process it because you're feeling worn out, take your time. You don't have to reply right away. Nothing here is time sensitive. Oh, I knew I was going to forget this. All right, guys. Sorry, right, what is your message card? Ooh, that came out quick. Okay, so I kind of went with these two. So
You got, and again, these cards are weird, but they're fun. Stones have ears, and it's high above.
So I get kind of two vibes from this. It's high above is I think set your limits higher. Like, I think stretch for what you want,
Because you do have the sun there.
and I do also kind of take that as divine guidance. I think you're being looked after. I think you're going to be okay. Whatever you're going through, you're not alone.
And then the stones have ears. This one's a fun one. I'm kind of pulling my own interpretations.
I take it two ways. I do think that if you get a chance to go for a walk and get out in nature, I kind of feel like, you know, if you want to talk to a tree or talk to a rock, nature listens. I kind of get that vibe. I also think I am getting a vibe also in the fact that we had that communication and fast communication. You know what that tells me? If you do talk to this person, if whomever's communicating or whomever you're communicating with, they might be communicating fast because they're in a public place. And I do think it's a place where someone might overhear. And I'm getting, ooh, yeah, that's coming through real clearly. Like, what you thought, like you come up to someone and say something that's kind of personal, and you think that no one hears you, but the walls have ears. You know how that I'm hearing that saying, the stones have ears. What you think isn't listening is really listening to you. So there might be a little bit of that going on too, guys. That's interesting. All right, so that is your week. You have a pretty exciting week, guys. But again, you know, take it easy. All three piles kind of have a theme of, you know, don't overexert yourself. Well, the two so far. All right, so deck number 3, we got our Goldstone Frog, and we got the White Sage Tarot. So deck number 3, what kind of week are we gonna have? Okay, this is really, my thumb is pushing this card out, if you can see it. So I'm gonna go with that one first. Ooh. Oh, we got the 2 cups in the middle last deck. And, ooh, thank you. Trying not to have a million cards here. I'm getting a very clear story. And this is very spatial. This is the root. If you can see this. This right here is the root. Sourcing up, beginning, middle, end of week. All right, and then I knew I was going to do this. Let me get your oracle. So deck number 2, what is the oracle card, please? Deck number 2, a lot of green. Deck number 2, what is their oracle, please? Okay, this is falling out. Time to fly. Okay. All right, first off, let me just say, this deck, the ribbons are chakra colors, and we've got green, 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 green. And the pink is this, the root chakra, but green is the heart chakra. It is the heart chakra. It's the center of your chest. And by the beginning of the week, you're going to be feeling really worn out. You're going to have a lot of things going on.
You probably have to put a few things down.
And again, okay, so I called it. All 3 decks are having, I'm getting a real fast vibe. The other thing is we are coming up on, that's the other thing is at the beginning of the week, March 9th is going to be a full moon, Pisces opposite Virgo, and the Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going direct, and it was in Pisces. So things are going to get real clear, real fast. And the other thing is that you're just going to be busy. You're going to be busy. And the fact that the ribbon is tying up all of the wands, I really do think that tells me that your heart is going to be in what you're doing. So I do feel like what you're doing is a labor of love that's coming through, but you are going to be busy. It's almost like you don't, if you've ever had those days where you just get up and the day goes so quick and then you lay back down and you're like, wow, where did that day go? But the time flew because you were really engaged, right? You were engaged. I do think that this is a labor of love. But the first couple of days is going to be like that. It's just going to be like the time is going to be flying, and it's going to be a little bit more intense around the full moon because the energies are going to be so much higher, and I just feel like you're going to have a lot more that you need to do, or just a lot more going on. Now, by the middle of the week, wow, I'm seeing a lot of romance. I do think that by the middle of the week, because you not only have the heart chakra, but you got the Two of Cups, and you got the Queen of Pentacles. I definitely think by the middle of the week, if you're going to be spending time with your lovey, with your honey, if you are in a relationship, then you're going to be making some time to be with your person. Now, you can be a man watching this reading and be in the energy of the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is it's a very nurturing energy in a practical way. She is very kind of Virgo in the way that she is, and it's interesting, Moon in Virgo. It's nurturing in a very practical way, but it is attention oriented. It's very detailed. The other thing is, the other way that I read it is that this person, male or female, they would share your same values, like what you value in life. Like, I know that sounds like a strange thing, but these two people get along. They're almost like peas in a pod. The other thing I'm going to note is that he has a sand dollar, which, are the pentacles in this deck, but we're going to get to that in a minute. But so you got the king, you got the King of Pentacles, or this may even be a child. It might be that the Queen of Pentacles is the kind of mama elephant, and that might be a baby. So you might be spending quality time with your wife and child. But I'm definitely getting a feeling like this person, this woman, whether it be yourself or someone else, also it could be you spending quality time. You might just have a really tender moment with your child in the middle of the week, like a real connecting one. One where you're like one, But I definitely get the feeling like the Queen of Pentacles, it's like it's almost two people connecting over shared values. That's what I'm feeling. Almost as if you've ever had that moment where your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend has ever exhibited something that is just something that you would do, And it can be something really simple too, It's just you ever feel your heart just really open when you get around someone who understands how you are at a core level? Like, they understand why you believe the things you do. They handle their checkbook the same way you do, or maybe even they do something that's practical that just really. And also I get sense of acts of service, if you've ever read about the love languages, Now underneath this, the root of the week, we got, now this is a little bit, and there's no bad cards in tarot, but we got the Ten of Swords, we got Strength, which is the bear, and we got the Ace of Pentacles. And tell me that the Ace of Pentacles are just like that pentacle that's on her head, right? It's the sand dollar, right? So basically, in Lenormand, the bear means a CEO, and I really kind of get that because I take the images into consideration. But I definitely get the feeling that the Ten of Swords is a very painful situation, and you being strong. The other thing is that the Ace of Pentacles, that sand dollar is like it's the seed of something new. You're growing something new. So again, I really do get the feeling as if you might have had a lot going on, because you got the Ten of Wands here and you got the Ten of Swords here, and that's heart chakra too. So I really think that you might have had kind of a hard struggle recently, and you've been very strong about it. You're making the other thing is I see you kind of making steady steps towards that Ace of Pentacles. You're building, you're building what you value. You're building. The other thing is I am getting a little bit of finance vibe from this, but you're taking steady steps. But I do think that by the middle of the week, you're going to have like a moment of connection with someone. It can be mother and child. It can be, family or sisters. But you're definitely going to feel like just a real, like, I get this feeling like this person is going to make you feel very warm because they're going to understand you. It's like they're going to show you that what you believe in is accepted. What you believe in is okay. And now by the end of the week, we got the Two of Pentacles. And again, we got another green, heart chakra card. So by the end of the week, I do think that you're going to be, again, it's interesting. All three decks kind of had an up and down kind of feeling by the end of the week. The other thing that I see is that I see balance. Because when you look at it, these two are equal, right? One goes up, the other goes down, and then, vice versa. And I do think that by the end of the week, you're going to feel like, again, the fact that this is equal. The other thing that I see here is that with the Strength card, you have the same figure 8. You have the same infinity symbol. So I do think that you're keeping things in balance. And I do also think that you're balancing what you value. Like, I think you're balancing your values. The other thing that I kind of read this as too is that maybe you've had, a few struggles with money, but you are keeping, right now you're working hard and you're keeping a healthy balance between work and family, or work and home. You're working enough to get the money that you need to pay for what you need, but you're not sacrificing family time or time with those you love. So that's putting a value. It's putting a value to things that are important. And I do think that by the end of the week, you're going to have that in a good balance. But I do think that this connection by the middle of the week is going to be a very deserved reward, because you have had some hardship lately. I think you've been very strong. And you've been very practical too. You've done what you needed to do. You've worked hard. And your oracle cards, really, you kind of got 3, and I'll go through them real quick, but time to try to fly. So I think that's so great. And honestly, mountains usually mean challenge in Lenormand. And here you have the sun and the moon. And look at that, guys. Doesn't that look like the 2 circles? Oh, wow, I just got that. So again, you're balancing the sun and the moon. It's funny, all 3 decks had balancing going on. We had 8 and 8, and then we had moon, and we've had a lot of balancing. I really do think this full moon, it's going to have a impact. And then you got this cute one that said head in the clouds. I think it's so cute. It looks like a little alien cat, right? But it looks like they're receiving. First off, it looks like they're concentrating really hard and transmitting ideas. But I also think that you're getting ideas from the ether, like you're downloading ideas. Maybe you do read cards, or maybe you're a little bit intuitive, and you're just receptive. The other thing is that with all this Piscean energy, especially with Mercury in Pisces, that definitely makes you in tune, right? It does. I would also pay attention to your dreams. If you've been having weird dreams, maybe try to keep a pad of paper so you can write them all down. And then the other thing you got is deal with your jet lag. And this is really a pretty card. You see a little bird flying at night. But yeah, I do think that that's been a common theme in all 3 decks as well, is that I think everyone's working really hard. I think things have been really busy in life, at work, at home, and life in general. A few people have been taking on, more activity. So I do think that it says, you know, slow down when you need to, and try to let yourself catch up. You know, I also see that, you know, you've been flying, you know, you've been trying to fly, you've been kind of flapping those wings to get over. I think the other thing is you've been flying, you've been trying to fly over all those points, right? And you've been doing a good job, but after a while, you know, you've been exerting so much energy and you've been flying all night long, you know, you need to land and kind of rest a little bit. So definitely make self-care a priority. All right, guys. Well, that turned out to be a really lovely week for everyone. I really do love these cards. I'm going to try to use them more often. And I'll go ahead and put your try to fly right on top. I think that was the prominent message. Well, I thank you so much for joining me. I definitely am going to be, you know, of course I'm doing this other video series, but we are going to get back to the fun stuff. I owe you charms, so we're going to do that soon. The other thing is I have a beloved 45 subscribers, and I'm so grateful for everyone. The moment I get to 50, you know, doing a round number, we're going to do something very special. I'm going to think of a special read. If there's any suggestions that you have for that, please feel free to comment below. And I hope you can join me on Tuesday. We're going to how to tarot on the Two of Wands. And otherwise, I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.